Meeting of the Morgan County Drainage Board to order for the April 7th, 2025 meeting. If you'll please stand and follow Mr. Brock in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I do like for us to recognize a quorum. We have one. I need someone to make a motion for the approval of the February minutes.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Old business, annual river cleanup.
Boy, I'm up right off the bat.
Yeah.
He's got to wake up.
The annual river cleanup was held 2 or 3 weekends ago, 3 weekends ago. We had around 85 people. Probably filled half of a 18-yard dumpster, around 30 tires.
Good deal.
Kind of a cool day, but luckily we got it when we got it because I don't.
They replenished it for you
Yeah,
over
we-
the week last week.
Good news is we'll have plenty to do next year. And our annual report was due April 1st. That was on time. I've already gotten a letter back from IDEM saying that we had no deficiencies with our program or with the report. So that's on schedule. That's already wrapped up.
Can you pull that mic up a little bit? My aids aren't working worth a nickel.
That was about all I had. But I will go over, since I'm standing up here, and we kind of have a few other things here on our agenda today, I'll go ahead and cover the herbicide spray. Over the last couple of years, we've kept the same applicator, so that way we can tell, you know, if you have someone come in on a year-to-year basis, it's kind of hard to see what happens, right? So maybe next spring we see all this stuff sprouting up. It's kind of hard to put who did what, right? So if you run a 3 to 5, 6 year type program, and your brush is being gone and you're having success, then you can credit that to one person. It's the same way as if you're not having much success and you've had 5 or 6 guys in over the last 5 or 6 years, it's really hard to tell who's not doing a good job. So the last year we had Dewey Goss with Haas Spray. He's a local guy. He leads 2 or 3 different, I know he was the president of the Kentucky Herbicide Applicators. He's a Morgan County man, but so he was charging a very competitive and reasonable price. So I would like to put together a package for him to go out with the footage to spray our regulated drains again this year. It was around 18 cents a foot last year. And that's quite a competitive price. So if you guys are okay with that.
What do you think at 18 cents a foot would be the total cost of the whole package?
I'm glad you asked. The total last year out of, and I don't have the total footage, but it was, we paid a total bill of $37,000, and that was for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 regulated drains. Some of them are small, some of them we only spray one side. Quite a few of them we spray both sides. And, you know, we're trying to keep a right of way from the top of bank over clean so we can drive our vehicles down these slopes, any overhanging stuff. And we want to kill anything of a certain size. anything bigger than that certain size. We'd rather someone cut it down and haul it out of there. Because when you spray them of a certain size and they all die, the next big rain comes and they all end up in the culvert, so.
All those funds come out of their maintenance funds.
Yeah.
Okay, help me out here a little bit. Are we looking at a bid or we're taking a bid?
This is kind of like a maintenance agreement type of thing.
Well, I think, but I don't know what we're required to do. I don't like just handing something off to people, even though they're good. That grates on me a little. And I just wanted,
But I'd rather hand it to a local that I'm gonna get $1,006 back on a $37,000 contract. And he didn't do it.
well, I have no doubt that he's good.
A couple years ago,
Oh.
And he is good. I mean, the highway department's been using him. I mean, Dewey does a good job.
I just,
But if it's a bid, I agree with Don. If it's a bid, then we need to go out and ask for people to give us bids. If it's a contract, then we need to look at moving this to a contractual thing.
that's where I'm going.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense, Terry?
That makes sense. I know what you're saying.
We contract with somebody, it's not a bid.
Right.
And I would think that people would get tired, because as long as I've been on here, Mr. Goss always wins the bid.
Yeah, he's good.
He's always got the bid, so I mean, I would think other people would get tired of putting in bids.
Let's look at it like a contract then.
Do it like a contract, that's fine. When we put up the bid, we may have one other person bid it,
Correct.
yeah.
maybe. We'll
Right.
put it out to a lot of people, and we may get one.
I didn't
or
know
two
what
back.
statutorily we had to do,
And?
but
Bid, contract, still, I mean, either way, you're gonna have a contract with them no matter what you do, period. So,
Correct.
Sorry, I was working on something for Josh. So you are questioning whether you need to do a bid? Is that,
Put it out to
To put it out.
numerous bids versus just making it a contract. I think if we accept a bid, we'd have to have a open bidding period.
I would agree. I mean, we haven't put out a request for proposals or any,
No.
or RFQs or anything like that on this, right?
It's the same company we used for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
This gentleman always wins the bid. But just to,
When you say he always wins the bid, have we historically put it out to bid?
Not in the last 2 or 3 years. And here's a couple of reasons why. Because on how we pay people, so if you know a few tricks of the trade and you go out and you put a little bleach in your product, and then you go down the ditch bank and you spray it and you light it all up and it's brown, then 30 to 40 days later, the county surveyor goes out and inspects these and say, yes, you've reached your percent of kill, everything looks good, and we write the guy a check or the company a check. And then next spring, everything comes back green. And the reason they did that is because all they did was kill the leaves and they didn't kill the plant. And it's really hard to, go back and argue that because you already approved this back in the summer and you said that I had that kill. I can't help it if things grew back. And there's all kinds of dirty secrets or dirty trade things you can do. You can also have a person who uses a product that is in accordance to the label, is legal to use, and it works well, but you may not see the results the first year. So he's out $40,000 and he wants to get paid, but we're not seeing that kill. So no, sorry, you haven't reached that. You haven't reached your percent of kill that was in the contract. You haven't reached it, and this is what we did to a poor kid about 3 or 4 years ago. And he was new to the business, and he didn't know that this stuff actually took a spring before it will show death. And so I strung him along for 7 or 8 months without paying him because I didn't like what I was seeing out in the field. So there is benefits to, and we talked about this two to 3 years ago, and I can't remember exactly how many years ago it was, But I asked for at that time, would it be possible that we have somebody, excuse me, do this for a few years so that way we can see, lay this out in blocks. Hey, are you satisfied? Is this guy doing what he said he was gonna do? So. Just wanna make sure that that we can do it legally, but here's the reasons why this is so difficult to do. It's not like we're building something, it's built, here's your check.
And it wouldn't be a bid anyway, it's under that threshold, so it'd just be asking for quotes.
Let's just call it a contract, and can we just call it a contract and go with what, because, you know, you can reject a contract based upon past experiences, or lack of service.
Okay, we don't currently have a contract with this person.
Right.
That's problem number one, right?
We have a yearly
What?
contract.
That's a problem.
Yeah, well, let's get a contract.
Oh, they're saying we do. We have a yearly
Yeah,
contract?
we sign a contract every year with him.
He was under
It's not
contract
signed this year.
for for last spring's services. So currently. Yeah.
It's a contract for services, and how much are we paying?
Well, it's a different price for each drain because there's a different footage for each drain. And each one of these costs come out of the individual drain. So, but overall, over the 8 drains that we had sprayed last year, it was a total of $37,587.
What's the threshold now to bid? 125,000?
It used to be 25 when I started, and I know it went way up
I
over
think it's
that.
120. I'm not sure on that, but
So I know this is under that,
it's way under that, yeah.
but I just think it'd be easier if we just have an annual contract with
Oh, I
him, and then
agree.
he comes in and we negotiate the contract on an annual basis. As
I
long
know
as his
that-
performance continues, and then you're not upsetting people coming in, giving bids that they always get undercut, and your guys are happy with him. So I just say we keep him under contract and form a contract that renews annually based upon specifications of that year's needs. Square footage, or the footage and the cost of the chemicals, and basically same structure, same bone structure. We'll change the meat on it every year based upon the situation.
Sounds good to me.
Annual contract.
I know also the highway department uses some of his services over the last 2 years, I think. So if this could, I don't know if this could fall over just a county umbrella. And that way the highway can pick him up as they need him to.
I'm just flying blind here because I haven't seen
You're-
said contract.
Right. I don't think that would be a problem, other than the allocation of funds would come from 2 different funding mechanisms.
Well, they'll be coming from 9, yeah, 2 mechanisms, but 9 locations because of the 9 different
Right.
numbers.
I know Grant went out to went out to bid whenever he did it the first time, and I believe that was in 2021, I believe.
We did the same thing. We put this to bid the first time we hired him.
Yeah, and I think they always do, but I mean, that's beside the point. But I know they did the first time for sure. I can't say since Eddie's been there.
Yeah. Just let me know. It's April. Probably that really picks up probably 2nd, 3rd week of May probably is probably the time when,
Just take last year's contract and have Ann review it, and we'll go from there. I don't have a problem with it. He's not gotten back, he's not given us, last year's was 37.5, is this year's 37.5? Does he?
Or is it based on that 18 cents a foot?
does it, I reached out to him to make sure that he was still willing and able to work for us this spring. And he replied back and said he was, and that the price would be very similar to last year. And,
Tell
and,
him to get us the price and we'll get him a contract.
okay, thank you.
It'll work.
Are you good with it? Yeah, I mean. And then we'll talk to Eddie and make sure that, I mean, is he doing the similar thing for the highway department on the spraying, or is it a different spray? Is it a
I don't
different
want to
price?
talk,
Yeah.
because he has to
We're
use
not sure what
waterway
they're spraying.
products.
We don't
Right,
know.
so that may be two contracts.
Yeah.
It probably will be two
Roadsides.
contracts. They do it totally different than what we do.
Be cleaner because they're gonna be funded from different funding
Okay.
mechanisms, and that doesn't dilute
Yeah.
this contract for this board or the contract that we're gonna pay out of the highway department. I,
Contract, yep.
you know, if I'm gonna do your tax return, I can do your kid's tax return a whole lot cheaper than if your kid just walks off, because now I've got two contracts, I've got two returns, so
Yeah.
let's help ourselves too in this. We're one county, so yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll get that done.
Thank you.
Update on Mud Creek?
The Joint Drainage Board is looking at Mud Creek, which is called the official name's Wrightsville. It's up on the north of 70, up in Adams Township. Runs way up I think all the way up to Amo or Coltsville.
It's most of it's up there on them, of course.
Yeah,
We just get the tail end.
we got the tail end, but our tail end's not in very good shape. Theirs is in pretty good shape. So their water gets to us really quick. But the Joint Drainage Board is going to take that over as Kenny and Don was in on that first conversation on that. And Dave and I are going to get together. We had a couple of dates scheduled and David got sick and couldn't make the meeting. So we're going to try to get together this week and get you more information back, what we think we need to do and the scope of work. But that'll go in front of the Joint Drainage Board.
When's that going, do you have a date on that?
No, I don't yet, John.
Okay.
But just let Brian know that the Joint Drainage Board will put the assessment on it also. So, because it'll all be handled through the Joint Drainage Board.
That's great.
Just to let you know, I was hoping to have an update, but since David got sick, we just didn't get,
I'm sorry about,
he's feeling better now, but he was sick for a couple of days there, in the flu, he said, so.
oh, well, that,
I didn't want to be around him, so.
New business, 2025 herbicide? Is that what we just discussed, the same topic,
Same
different? Yep. Contract. Removal of emergency debris, solder ditch?
You called me about that, those trees, and we hired Anderson Excavating, who does a lot of our work just as an emergency basis to go out and get that removed, and he got it removed prior to the big rains coming in on that Friday.
it was good.
That was the first big rains. That was, what, 3 weeks ago, Brian, roughly? So we got that moved out. And
Got all new one now, I'm sure.
Well, we had one, which we went back and looked, we had stuff in, and Gary saw it, we had stuff in there. Well, we got all the big stuff out, but there was still some grass left in there, but we didn't get it out. So I did that last Thursday. I personally went out there and got all that out, because there was boards in there, there was cut-off logs. People upstream are just throwing everything in our ditch. And it's catching on that bridge, which we're getting ready to get rid of. So once that bridge is gone, a lot of that will keep going downstream.
I mean, that's the way to do it. I mean, you just throw it in that, and then the next flood, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. That's what's going on, trust me.
I'm clear.
But we did get it removed out, and I haven't been down there today to see how it worked, but Friday, there was some grass left, but I got all the big stuff out, so they were probably 95% clear. So they should have worked just fine, the two big pipes, so. But we just want to let you know that we did go ahead and pay him $500 to remove that debris out of there, so.
Ian received a phone call from the city, and it just shows that different government entities do and have to work together. So I appreciate the phone call, because it might have saved the bridge.
It
didn't
probably
aim
did, or at least save some of those houses being washed of water in them this rain.
Before we get to the bids, there, just a moment of reflection. when you told me you went down and cleaned that out, we need to issue a definite word of caution. We lost a good person in the community this week who went down to clean out a ditch. Brad was well-known up north and around the county, so keep his family in your prayers. He's just trying to clean out a ditch. Solder ditch, outer drive culvert, awarding of bids.
Mr. Miller?
Joe Miller, Banning Engineering. Wow, this is loud. We've reviewed the bids. We had 7 bidders. They were very competitive. We had a good showing. And based on the discussion with the county surveyor, there was a bid alternate we added to the project. As part of this, we recognized the base bid. Yarberry Companies was the low on the base bid, and recommend going with them. And then in addition to that, there was an alternative that they had, which was another $38,000 to replace a culvert just to the northeast along there to allow for better access to the project site. The surveyor's recommendation is to add that into the project as well. It'll just clean things up, and it's within both amounts are within the budget that's been previously allotted for this project. So we recommend awarding the contract to Yarberry Companies at a total of $293,258.60.
Yeah, we had to put that alternative in there because during our pre-construction meeting, a couple of the bidders made a comment that they're gonna have to fix that because there's a dip. I don't know if you know.
On Outer Drive?
On Outer Drive, there's a big dip where that pipe is, and they couldn't get the crane and their big trucks back there with that big dip. So they were gonna have to fix it somehow, so we just added into the bid. So we're gonna put it in.
Tell them when we take our $1 million aerial, we just have to go real fast and jump it.
It's like the Dukes of Hazzard.
Don't repeat that to the city. Don't put that in the paper. Yeah, that is a bad dip.
It's bad.
Yeah.
And they didn't think they can get those low boys in there with the cranes and stuff. So, and they couldn't come the other way because they couldn't make that turn to get in there. So that's the only way they could come in. So we added that to the bid, and it still come in under what our grant's gonna pay. So we're good.
Now, that'd be fixing 2 problems at once.
Yep, it will.
What kind of grant?
What grant? He's asking about the grant.
The Ready Grant.
Oh, okay.
It's all part of our Ready Grant.
Oh, yeah, well, I was making sure. Any grant anymore is suspect.
Yeah, it's the Ready Grant. So we've already been
I knew that.
awarded.
I figured that was what it was, but
Yeah, because they're in a hurry for us to spend that money. They keep saying, are you spending it? We said, we're trying.
We have a question from the audience.
Beg your pardon? It's the South Outer Drive
South
culvert
Outer-
along Starter Ditch. It's the one that was just plugged. They were literally just.
Yeah, the one that-
Bridge,
plugged.
not the culvert on up off of, not the one off across, the one down the bridge, and then the one down the drive in the middle that dips that used to have the gate.
Yeah, the one's got the little block walls up on the side. We're gonna take it all the way out and put a big wide, instead of 2 pipes, it'll be a big wide opening to let it out, so.
Will the expansion be a little bit wider?
Yeah,
Because that's a bear to turn the aerial truck
Yeah.
from when we go around the manor to,
you're gonna have a lot more room because you're not gonna have the walls in there. There'll be some guardrails up, but it's a lot longer than what's there now, right, Joe?
Yeah, we've got it. I think
Lot
it's like
wider, I mean.
8 to 10 foot longer than what the
So you got
current.
10 more feet, so you'll
Good
be able
deal.
to get in there. We'll make sure that when they taper it, you give you room to get in there. We gotta make sure you can get in there.
absolutely. And if
House
I'm
too
driving a
tight.
$1 million truck, you want to have a lot of room. Sir, did that answer your question? Okay.
You don't wanna have to pull your feet up, thinking you're gonna hit the side.
Any other questions? Then we need a motion to accept the bid.
Hill makes motion that we award the bid to Yarberry at $293,258.60. $258.60, which includes the bid alternate one as well.
Second.
Have a first and a second to accept the Sauter Ditch Culvert South Outer Drive. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
One of the things I need you guys to approve real quick, give me the authority to sign the contract when we get the contract ready.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we give Terry Brock the signing authority to sign the contract with them.
Second.
All in favor of letting Mr. Brock sign the contract when the contract's written and delivered, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Brock can sign the contract. If we go a little short, Mr. Brock will make up the difference.
Oh, here we go.
His name's on the contract.
So moved.
Yeah, that way, I didn't even have to call for a vote on that. Coordinator update, do you have anything else to add, sir? Okay, thank you. Any other business to come before this board? Yes, sir. Okay.
You need to, if you come up and state your name and your address, and speak, because that way we got it on the recording.
Don't know him.
I'm not a good speaker, so I'm sorry.
No,
but,
you're fine.
Oh, just tell
My
us.
name's Ken Norman. I've lived at 1315 Cross Street for the last 50 years. And
How many years?
50,
You're not that old. That's all right.
I'll argue that point. Well, when I moved there, I was told I needed to maintain the ditch, Sauter Ditch, borders the east side of my property. So I've mowed that and kept it up all these years. And I've seen a lot of developments going on over the years. Well, they built the high school, and the drainage from that goes into Sauter Ditch. That didn't bother me any. But when they built the Grand Valley development, they ran all that drainage under 37 into Sauter Ditch, and that's when my flooding problem started. Well, it's backing up from the culvert that's just south of me that goes into the trailer park. And I brought it up to the board several years ago, and they suggested that when I-69 was built, that that problem would be resolved. And it's not been, because Wednesday night and Friday night, the water was back up into my yard. Back in 2008, I was flooded into my garage and ruined a lot of tools, a lot of other equipment that I had. And so I bought flood insurance. It cost me $100 a year for FEMA flood insurance. Well, now it's $911 a year. And here I've still got the flooding problem. And they're telling me that I'm not in a flood zone. So, I shouldn't have to be paying for flood insurance to protect my property, but it's, I've got pictures of, if you'd like to see them.
Sure.
I believe he's at that other entrance. Cross Street's the other one that's coming in.
Yeah, I'm 3 houses north of
The three
that
houses
culvert.
north of Cross
Yeah.
Street.
And when they were building I-69, I suggested things to them about, handling the runoff from the Grand Valley development. I thought, a good idea would be to keep that runoff on the east side of the highway, because, Sauter Ditch just comes back down and goes underneath the highway and all up to the east side again. So why not keep all the runoff over there? And, and the Sauter Ditch was handling the rest of the flow of water, so. But they didn't change anything. And so my question is, can the culvert be replaced? Can the Sartor ditch be dredged out? And you was talking about killing weeds and brush and stuff along. I've never seen anything, any kind of weed control or anything along my part of the ditch, as far as I can see, north or south. So I don't know. It grows up pretty high there. They did take some of the trees out a few years ago, but they left some of them to the north of me. But anyhow, I just want to bring the problem to your attention and see if there's something that can be resolved there.
We've discussed Walmart area, Grand Valley area before. We know that water's coming through there and it's not really being retained back on the property. We're trying to figure out what we can do to hold that back on that side.
Yeah.
We do realize that it's not functioning the way it should. And there's a lot of water that comes off of there. If you ever look at those big pipes that go through there, there's a lot of water that comes from the east side of 69.
Yep. And it comes up fast and then it goes back down fast.
It'll come up really fast because it's taking all that impervious area and pushing it into the ditch, which
Yeah.
it's doing. But we can't find plans when they developed all that. That was prior to me and it was prior to Gary. And Gary works for the city. And I know Gary's looked for plans and we just can't find plans. So we got to figure out what we can do with those people over there to say, hey, you got to retain a little more water. So that's on our radar for sure.
Yeah.
We know that there's an issue on that side of 69. So I can't give you a quick fix, but we're trying, we know that we need to figure that one out and we're working on that.
Okay,
I know it's not a quick fix, but we do know what's going on. So.
well,
And that'll probably, the next crossing would be that crossing we will make a little larger whenever we get funding to do that. But the other one was a lot more critical because it was way undersized. And that's why we chose that one. We know that one needs work too. Bill and I talked about that several times. We opened that one up, we need to get that one opened up too. So
yeah.
we're planning on making a larger opening there too.
Yeah, Friday night, there was over 4 inches of water running across the road.
I'm sure there
going-
was, yeah. I'm sure there was.
Yeah.
And your comment about your flood zone, if I'm not mistaken, they changed the flood zone out there.
Really?
He's not?
Back to
Gary knows that flood zone real well.
It used to be, but it's not
Used to be and they
anymore.
took it out? Is that what they did, Gary? Yeah, so they did
I
take it
can't
out.
believe they allow it to run to the west of 69 and then go down and go back east again. That just don't make any sense to me.
Zone, you mean? Yeah, I know. They added some and took some out. And I don't know what their thinking was on that. Yeah. A big bridge.
Crazy.
A great big bridge, so, yeah. Well, we will, make sure you get Kirsten your phone number so we can, keep you informed of what's going on.
Okay,
Yeah, thanks for letting us know, though. I mean, we appreciate that.
thanks for listening to me.
Oh, here's your photos.
Any other business come before the board? Look for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor, say aye. You're here.
yeah, your minutes.
Pass them down.